tailgate show, the tailgate show, the tailgate show. And you say Shot City, the tailgate show, the tailgate show, the tailgate show. And you say Shot City, the tailgate show, the tailgate show, the tailgate show. And you say Shot City, the tailgate show, the tailgate show, the tailgate show. And you say Shot City, the tailgate show, the tailgate show, the tailgate show.
What is up, 3-0 motherfuckers?
Suck it!
Deal with it. Suck on my big old foals. There's some foals in this house. 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 What video? I don't know what you're talking about.
That WAP edit was full of
Yeah, I saw it. I might see it again later.
Oh my god. Big dick Nick, huh?
Just saying. Whew. What do you think, boys? What the hell happened?
That is messed up. That's what that is.
How did you guys? I mean, when I saw the tweet before it happened in the game, I'm like, no Foles is going in. I'm like, holy shit! Like, it just got real.
Yeah, I don't know who I was tweeting with, but I was tweeting with somebody, and I was like, and they said something like, "Does Nagy have the balls to put in Foles?" And I said, "Nope." And then next thing you know, it was like, "Huh?"
I didn't think it would happen until after the bye week, man.
I was shocked.
Not only was it Foles, but it was like fucking visor Foles. Like, it was like, what the fuck? Like, who is this guy? Like, coming out the,
like
sidelines looking like Darth Vader's number one man. Like, I was like, okay, here we go. Like, anyway, we should get through the whole game before we cut to the big finish. But it was another freaking 3-hour heart attack.
Yeah,
you know what though? I know we're gonna go back and talk about how the game started, but we're gonna be able to see that if they don't continue with him, my head's gonna explode. But we're gonna be able to actually see Matt Nagy really implement his playbook for the first time since he's been here.
Hopefully. I mean, I have been asking, and I asked on the show, how was the offense going to look better if Foles came in? Because we were sitting here going like, what is this? Why did they bring Foles in if this is really the offense that they were going to run? And a lot of people had been saying, like, if this is the offense you're going to run, you might as well have brought in Cam. You might as well have not brought in anybody. You might as well have just, brought in, I don't know, Matt Moore and not mess around with Foles at all if you were just going to do this, play action, Mitch-friendly offense, that again, I mean, let's just be honest.
I mean, how refreshing must have been for him, because we heard about the back and forth on the sideline with him and Foles, and basically he told Foles, go out there and do you. If you see something, change it. Like, oh my God. Like, come on, man. Like, we haven't seen that with Mitch. Like,
imagine having confidence in a quarterback and knowing he's going to make the right play.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, Nagy basically said, you haven't played. I mean, how long has it been since Foles has seen live action? Go out there and change it if you need to. He trusts him. Like,
yeah, well, and I just think I don't know what happened, and I would love to know someday what happened inside Nagy's head at that moment. But I just think he once again saw the walls closing in, and I immediately thought of, him getting asked the question about, what's the deal with Mitch not being able to read zone defenses. I can tell you what
happened. He got into he gave Pace a little text, but he was just like, bye, Felicia, and put his guy in.
Well, that pick was horrible. Let's talk about that.
Well, it was this horrible. I mean, this is okay. So leading up to the game, obviously, let's go back. Let's start at the start.
Start at the beginning.
Leading up to the game, the cornerback, whoever the fuck, John Q. COVID, got tested positive. So we went to bed last night not even knowing if this game was going to happen. I mean, I thought, okay, like worst case scenario, maybe a few more Falcons are out, whatever. They test, game gets going, but Julio doesn't play. So we've got Julio and a host of other Falcons out, right? Like, so even more, and all week damn long, everybody's posting, no excuses. If the Bears don't do this, then this. And if the Bears don't do that, then that. And any time this has happened, anytime the Bears are expected to lay a smackdown on somebody, the fucking opposite happens.
Yes.
Every goddamn time, and we never learn.
Nope.
And I was arguing with people about why do you think it's such a fait accompli that this team, with supposedly all this offensive talent, is just going to smack the Falcons. I don't get it. Like, what team have you been watching? This team has not put it together offensively at any point for longer than a couple of games. It just has not happened. So you want to keep telling me there's all this offensive talent? Well, offensive talent executes when it needs to execute. It's not, oh man, they look great in practice, but they just can't put it together. That's not what offensive talent does. Offensive talent delivers when the lights are on. And this team, whether, I don't care who's at quarterback, who's a receiver, hasn't done it. So again, we sat here all week and we're like, this, we had better do this and we had better do that. And it was all these conditions about if the Bears win, we're going to be unhappy because of this. It's like, I mean, let's just call a spade a spade. This team is a fucking total wild card, and the only thing we know is that they don't give up. That's all we know.
Don't quit. I'll say this. The first two drives look pretty promising. You march it down the field. You don't get any points out of the first drive because the kicker,
Cairo
fucking idiot, and just shanks it. It's like, God, I hate kickers. Second drive, you score, and then we proceed to do 2 3-and-outs back to back.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't look good. I mean, I'll agree with what everybody said that this defense, that the Falcons were running out there was bad. I mean, but their defensive line was playing pretty good. Grady Jarrett was playing pretty good, and he was having a field day with James Daniels. James Daniels did not play well today.
The offensive line struggled today mightily.
Right.
Until the end.
But, I mean, let's, and we'll get to it later, but Foles made plays while being hit with people in his face. I mean, I thought dude went down for the collarbone, right off. So it's not like, all of a sudden the offensive line decided they knew how to
Mitch wasn't calling many adjustments either. And like Foles said, when he went in there, he was calling those adjustments. It makes a big difference when you have a guy that understands what's about to happen.
Well, you could see there were times where Cody would call out, hey, they're in single high, or I saw Tariq call out something. I'm sorry, but Mitch just doesn't have it upstairs. He just does not. And he was forcing balls. He forced a ball to Anthony Miller that he didn't need to force. And, he just was looking really bad. And it was looking like, oh my God, we're screwed. And then, of course, the Falcons get the ball, and what happens? Calvin Ridley,
65 yards deep.
Boom! Right off the rip. Eddie Jackson had a bad game.
Eddie got burned, but so did Kyle on that.
Kyle got torched too.
He did, but I mean, you can't tell me that you didn't think that was going to happen. If I'm the Falcons, I mean, you got to be ready for that. I just don't understand how you're not ready for that. And he got torched. And
they took a shot early. Sometimes that catches a defense off guard.
Right. Well, when you have a quarterback and a receiver who can put it together, I mean, absolutely. Yeah, you can definitely, you can definitely get it done. But as you see, when we try to do that crap on first down, what happened? Doesn't work, right?
If the sideline was
Kumars, what up, man?
What up, King Vaith Kumars?
Welcome.
What's cracking? Thanks for
Sorry,
joining.
Jared, go ahead.
If the sideline was an eligible receiver, he's 2 for 2. But the sideline's not an eligible receiver.
No, and Ted
It's
Ginn
a yard outside. It's a yard outside the fucking field.
Ted Ginn gets pushed out of bounds. I'm like, and so you're really going to take a deep shot on first down, and you're going to do it with Mitch and Ted Ginn. That's what life has come to as Bears fans. And Mitch Trubisky and older than the hills, Ted Ginn. Come on. I mean, and it just, let's be honest, it just looked, I mean, it was bleak. Once again, it was just bleak. At halftime.
And part of the problem is, too, when you have a quarterback on the level of Matt Ryan, you can't give a quarterback like that several opportunities. And that's the trap game we got caught in now. if the offense is playing a better game, you're not putting it changes the dynamic about what the opposing team's offense needs to do when they start getting down. And I think we're going to start seeing more of that with Foles at the helm. It changes everything because now the defense can pin their ears back. You know what I mean? That I just think that we're just kind of a better balanced team with Foles at the helm.
Well, it's just obvious that like everything.
Now, can he stay upright, man? Because he takes shots. That dude takes shots.
I don't know. I mean, that's the question: is can this offensive line keep him upright?
We need to keep him upright.
Absolutely. I mean, I just don't know. I don't know. I mean, I want to believe it. You know what I mean? But in this game, I mean, how many he took? Probably 3 or 4 hits.
Let's talk scenario though too. You're in a throw now mode. You have to throw. You don't have a choice.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, basically,
I think.
Which, even though they still ran the football later in that fourth quarter, unlike the Falcons,
dude almost threw 5 touchdowns in the second half. Practically threw 5 touchdowns. I know it's not on the stat sheet, but my goodness, man.
Right. I mean, it's crazy.
And that was just coming off the bench cold, man. You give him some time.
And like I said, like I don't think you had to shred this Falcons defense, but you should have.
Yes.
I mean,
Mitch did basically.
Right, but I'm saying like this is what Mitch should have done, right? Like, and it just didn't.
Foles basically came out and said, "I'm about to match your touchdown total for this season. Hold my beer."
Right, right. And we were getting screwed. And we were getting screwed by the refs. Like,
oh, Jerome Boger, he likes to smell his own farts. He's terrible. I really.
They robbed A-Rob. They robbed Hicks.
Yeah, there's a strip sack in there that should have happened.
Dude, Hicks got pushed into Ryan.
Yeah, that was crazy.
But we got pushed into Tariq Cohen, and there's no flag there.
Like, I get when they're going to call helmet to helmet. It's one of those necessary things that they just call. But the call on Hicks was absolutely atrocious. Like that.
How pushed him into him? I'm like,
and even so, like you have to think about, is there any physical way that this 300-pound man could stop himself?
Not if you're Jerome Boger. Jerome Boger doesn't care. He sees a flag, he throws that flag because that's kind of.
It's just
he's horrible. When you got him as an official, you can guarantee you're going to get at least 3 terrible calls.
That jump ball always goes. Say it was a jump ball to A-Rob, right? Where both guys have it always goes to the offense.
Right. It's very
land with it though. That's the question.
He came down with it, dude.
He did. Once his shoulder hit, it's a touchdown. The second his shoulder hit, and I know there's the completed catch thing, but regardless, even if it's simultaneous possession, it goes to the offensive player. It happened in the Cowboys game with Jalen Smith. Remember, there was a simultaneous possession. They both went down together. They possessed the ball simultaneously, and they gave it to A-Rob. It's the same exact thing.
But now, the question I had about that play is I thought it was going to be reversed because I didn't think it survived the ground. You have to survive the ground and still maintain possession, correct?
Well, that's what they ended up saying. Yeah. But to me, there was never anything less than simultaneous possession because it's like, and this is where we still are in this damn predicament of like not knowing what the hell a catch is and what not a catch, because the end zone has completely different rules than the rest of the field. You know what I mean? Like we've got this goal line plane garbage and the pylon, and then a bunch of other just completely convoluted things about the end zone that make it completely ridiculous to call correctly. And then when they do call it, it's like you don't know what happened. And I don't know how both referees can raise their arms for a touchdown and then they look at it and reverse it. And Mike Pereira disagreed, and Vilma, who was an idiot for most of the game, also disagreed. And it's like, so how did we get to this point? Like how did they? I don't know. I
will say this. I mean, the way this team fought, the adversity they came back from in this one was different than Detroit, right? Because he threw 2 would have been touchdowns, didn't let the refs get in their head. They kept pounding, man, and like that shows a lot of heart. That's something you can build on. And Foles, we know Foles is going to be more consistent.
3 touchdowns in 6 minutes.
4.5, I thought it was something crazy like that. Yeah.
It's insane.
It's
I mean,
crazy.
credit
to the defense for getting off the field too.
Yes.
Talk about ice in your veins, man. Like that. Those 2 coulda, woulda, shoulda been touchdowns that weren't, and he just still stayed focused. Had the guys. I mean, he as a fan when he came in, I was like, "Fuck yeah, let's go." You know what I mean?
Well,
it kind of re-energized me because I was in a rut, man. I was like,
and it did the same thing for the team, and it did the same thing for the defense because you see the way this defense acts when they know they have their sorry ass offense out there. Bilal Nichols is trying to pitch the ball like it, and they're trying to score on every damn. It's like, I get it, try to score, but don't be ridiculous like that. Bilal should not be pitching the ball. Like, luckily or unluckily that got called back, but I mean that was just that just goes to show you that the defense is in desperation mode because they know that they have to score. And we've been in this situation for a season and a half at least already.
But we're not used to seeing the offense bail us out this way. That's something to build on, man.
Yeah, I mean, and Kumar says, it feels like the offense clicks better with Foles and Mitch. Absolutely. It's the difference between a professional quarterback and somebody that's just out there trying to make plays. Now, listen, Mitch made that run.
That run was sweet. Yes.
Yes, it was. But the thing is that even with those runs, it's like, what did he miss? Like, even when he makes those big plays, I always sit there and go, what did he miss when he did that? Because
me and Gerald find out once we watch it.
Yeah, I'm sure there's lots, because that's the way it always goes is, and all these, like, Nagy haters and the play call haters, it's like, you understand that there are open people every single play, right? Like that Nagy schemes guys open and they doesn't hit them. And somebody put up the side by side of the play that Mitch missed to Miller, which was also a huge backbreaker in momentum, was the touchdown that Mitch completely missed to Miller, and then later what happens?
Did that throw look familiar?
Yes, later Foles made the exact same throw, except for that he threw it where it needed to be, and Miller was there. Now, Miller did obviously drop, a Foles touchdown earlier, and that's got to get cleaned up. I mean, people keep, with Miller, man, like, people keep telling me he's great and he's going to be great, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to believe it. Show me, man. Don't tell me about it. Don't show me all your touchdown moves and your ball spinning. Do it consistently. Now, I'll hand it to him. He hasn't had the quarterback. But who also doesn't have the quarterback is Allen Robinson. So, like, you've got to make it happen, Anthony Miller. Like, you can't be dropping touchdowns. I don't care who's throwing them to you.
I think you brought up a good point a few weeks back. We were talking about Foles because he had a head-scratching throw, too, to Jimmy Graham that it should have been picked off. He's going to do that. He's going to throw that head-scratcher. But that ball that he threw to Anthony Miller is the same ball Mitch missed in the early game. It's the same damn ball he missed against Philly in 2018 that would have won that game.
Yep.
He can't throw it.
King said in the chat that yes, the Falcons weren't ready for Foles, but nobody really is because they don't know what Foles looks like with Nagy. There's not a lot.
Right. And that's why I thought Foles would win the job is because they were going to get to design a whole new offense that nobody had on tape, right? And they did. They did design a whole new offense, so props to them. But
this was just Foles and hurry up. We don't know the whole game plan.
Right. I mean, this is just Foles in the shotgun and spread, going, just doing Foles. I mean, that's what we saw. This was, Foles with no warm-ups, just like, what? Okay, I'm in. Let's go.
I'm about to buy that 9-inch Mitch shirt off Barstool. I don't care. That shirt is fire.
I mean, like, I'm it's we used to talk about, and we still talk about how things looked better when Chase freaking Daniel came in. Yep. Like in the Minnesota game when Mitch went down and got hurt. Chase Daniel came in. No, of course. This is like that times 10. Like this is like
I almost needed a washcloth, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, oh
Everybody
my
does.
God, this is crazy. Like, look at, but let's not forget that it started off rough. The first drive was rough. It wasn't like, that was rough, and then the interception. So it took a while, and like you said, he shook that stuff off and kept it rolling. And
Well,
the
this is his
defense,
first live action, man. No preseason. Like, yeah, it took
right,
him-
I get all that, but I'm just saying, like, he didn't come in, and of course, you had people like immediately, just like, and and I was just like, I was sitting there going like,
even
well,
my boy Bragsy, man. He's like, oh, is it still all on the quarterback?
yeah, I mean, listen, I was questioning the play calling too, because there was some questionable looking things, but that's the thing, is that you just don't know what the play calls are because it's so execution dependent. I mean, you can't, like, this is a whole new ball game now with Foles in here doing his thing.
It looks like competency.
Yeah, I mean, it just, and I want to go back to the throw to Graham, because yes, that's a ball that should be picked off, but also when you look at it, there's two sides to everything, right?
Right.
One
He
person
threaded
can
that
say
needle.
that's a ball that should be picked off. I say that's a guy that threaded the needle over three guys to his 6'7" tight end and made a goddamn play when he needed to make it.
That was it was ballsy, man.
And Foles is going to do that. We saw that in the Eagles game, and we saw it all day. You see it in the Foles games. You go, and you see it with, I mean, I'm not comparing Foles to Mahomes, but you see it to Mahomes. With Mahomes, you see it where it's like, where's he throwing? Oh my God, there's Tyreek Hill out of nowhere. Like, because he's throwing to a spot.
And he throws
and
the
it
ball
looks-
away when he has to.
Right, it looks sketchy as hell sometimes when you throw to a spot because there's nobody there yet.
So you think the Jimmy Graham signing was pretty good so far?
4 TDs, right?
I was on board from minute fucking one. Like,
Still got something, man.
minute one. I mean, dude is a red zone threat. We haven't had one of those since, Zach Miller, maybe? I mean,
I would say Martellus.
Martellus, like, just a big body that you can just throw it up to, and he just posts up and goes up and get it. I mean,
I'm a little surprised with the lack of use of Komet. It's not like he's playing horrible. Like,
he's
He got-
you know what?
Bit slapped on the line early,
He
though.
did.
He
did.
got
Yeah.
made fun. Oh, it was terrible.
Yeah, it was bad. He got. It was Fowler that blew him up.
It was bad.
It was bad.
Like-
But he's number 3 on the depth chart. I mean, they interviewed him this past week, and he talked about it. What's the adjustment of going from being the man at Notre Dame? He's number 3 on the depth chart. It's Demetrius Harris, and then it's Jimmy Graham is first, and Cole Kmet's third. And Demetrius Harris has been getting into the action.
making plays.
And he's making plays, and he's been making plays in the blocking. And I kind of see the hierarchy of how it works with Furry is you do the shit when you don't get the ball, you get the ball.
Right.
And what did you see? You saw Mooney out there doing the little shit, blocking, running the right routes, and then all of a sudden his snaps go up, right?
He had a bad drop today, too.
He did. I mean, dude, the receivers tried so hard to ruin this comeback. Like, I mean, between Miller and Mooney, that was tough. Like,
Brutal.
we got a tie game with Green Bay and New Orleans right now with 10 minutes and 50 seconds left. So
Yeah.
20
go Saints.
27-27
Saints.
right now. I know. I'm just waiting to find out we're in sole possession of first place.
Yeah, baby.
That would be wild, man.
Wouldn't it?
I mean, but you just look at. I mean, going through the offense, I would say, I think A-Rob overall had a good game. You cannot, his play.
His heart just to break that tackle.
13 targets, 10 catches, over 100 yards. Should have been probably 3 touchdowns. I mean, or 2. That play at the end where he breaks a tackle on a little comeback, and yeah, it's bad tackling, but so what? Like, he gets paid too, and he
That's right.
bursts down the field for a score. Huge stuff. David Montgomery, just
On the draw in the fourth quarter, that draw they ran,
yeah,
just perfect
Monster.
timing.
monster.
His carries are going to go up, up, up.
And-
I
and
want them
that's-
to extend A-Rob, but at the same time, after what just happened to Tariq, I'm like,
Yeah,
Is what it is. I mean, that was a heartbreaker because it was a total meaningless play. Like, and
have a halo.
We need to take our important offensive weapons and get them off special teams for returns, man. It's too freaking risky. Like, I wish we could just get back to a guy that just returns. Because then they put Miller out there after. I'm like, no.
Well, and the thing is that Tariq has not had a. I mean, when's the last time Tariq had a punt return of note? The playoff game.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, I don't know when the last time he's had a decent punt return is.
I will say that, they directionally punted away from him the whole game, if you noticed, except for that one.
Right.
Maybe Pierce gets moved up like you were saying earlier.
Well, I mean, technically Mooney is next on the depth chart, but I really hope that they don't screw with that because he's now too important, and you cannot put Miller back there. Like, please, no. We've already seen that nightmare go down.
Not with his injury history either.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Is it's like, no. But I think that, and I may be wrong because we don't really know what all went down in camp, but I think that Pierce had some looks back there on punt returns. So I think that's what's honestly going to happen. I mean,
it's a damn shame we didn't bring Kareth White back on the practice squad, though, because he would be a perfect step up for Tariq.
Yeah, at the speed.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think what'll happen is Pierce will come up and, Cordarrelle and Montgomery will get more touches. I saw one guy on Twitter say that, even though it's bad that Cohen got hurt, it might be a blessing just because I think sometimes Nagy has to be forced to keep it simple, and simple, stupid. Because he tries too hard to get too many people involved, and then they don't go back to something that worked, and so it's like, I mean, as much as we're gonna miss Tariq, and I love Tariq, and I had no problem with him getting signed. Sorry, Dove Kleiman, and your whack ass take about how that means Pace is the worst GM in the league. Like, get out of here with that, but. I also think
it really sucks though because Foles would have put Tariq in good positions.
And he already did. I mean, Tariq had a little screen for like 25 yards. That's a thing that never happens because as much as you want to be like, oh, everything's different now that we can run the ball. No, everything's different when the defense believes you can beat them deep. That is the secret sauce. That is the magic. If a defense is afraid of your deep pass, that's what makes them loosen up. Not they'll give you 6 yards on first down all day, because they know that on third down you can't get it done. And we were brutal on third down again in the first
4 of 13 for the game.
Brutal. And Mitch, they were daring him to throw.
Oh yeah.
They were in single high zone daring him to throw, like, please. And then when they got him on the interception, like, Jarrett Payton's like, I don't know what happened. It's like that was the only time during the game the announcers made a decent call. They said exactly what happened. They showed man and they dropped into zone, and Mitch can't do it. Like, it's like short circuit. That's all it takes.
Well, you saw the defenses reacted to the run game whenever they know that the quarterback can't make the right adjustments and throw.
Speaking of defenses reacting to run games, though, man, our run defense needs to step the hell up.
Absolutely. But again, that's why they kept getting burnt on third down is because Matt Ryan scares you deep, So they were willing, and unfortunately I didn't like what they were doing on third down because they kept getting ripped on the same draw play. But that's the kind of thing that we can do with Foles if we, can hit a couple of deep balls.
Right.
Pause. I mean, but yes, that was rough stuff. But Khalil Mack played his ass off.
That defensive line's getting nasty, boys.
Akeem Hicks played his ass off. I saw Roy Robb making plays. I saw Vaughters making plays. I saw Brent Urban. Brent Urban's wife, Kate Urban, is a beast. She was on Twitter smashing beers and woo! She went ham on those beers.
Oh, she went stone cold, right?
Yeah. Yes, she went stone cold with 2 beers. Star of the Twitter night for sure. But Brent Urban played well. Edwards, I thought got called for a cheap penalty. He was in the action, and but at the end of the day, you're still missing Goldman. I mean, you're missing that, that big body in there that doesn't get moved. So maybe we'll see this McCullers dude get some reps. I mean, I know he's not anybody that's actually like produced for the Steelers, but he's at least big and
if he could just occupy territory and keep the linebackers clean.
Right.
Because let's talk about Roquan not shedding blocks.
Oh my God, Roquan was getting pushed like a wheelbarrow into the.
I've
secondary.
Like Roquan shed the damn block.
Well, and what was what was Trevathan doing in on third down so much? Like because it was third and short. I mean, at the beginning of the game, Iggy's in on goal line. I was like, "What is happening? This is my nightmare."
That one shocked me.
I mean,
see that happening.
I don't know what happened. Like, I really don't know what happened. How, like, Iggy should not be on the field. Shout out to Iggy for playing like crap. Shout out to Josh Woods for getting a 10-yard penalty on special teams. Both those guys are garbage. And we've been saying that their inside linebacker depth is trash, and there it is. Like,
showed itself.
It just sucks that, when you're right and it comes home to roost. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Like it's just frustrating. Like I don't know. But overall, I thought the defense just kept fighting, and I knew that they would get to Ryan, and they did. Although, good Lord, that one play where Ryan rolled out, and it was like slow motion. I was like, Ryan is the slowest thing ever, but Danny Trevathan is slow.
Like, it's bad, man. I was like, Danny, what are you doing, brother?
He's nasty, though.
Who?
Matty Ice, man.
He was nasty in the last 4 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, nobody collapses like the freaking Falcons, man.
Dude,
I mean,
he was down two of his top receivers. I think he played all right. Let's give him a little credit. Not act like we're in some like freaking quarterback.
I agree, but I'm just saying, like, I thought that, like, how do you let that guy escape the pocket and you can't get to
right?
him?
But off the rip, we were like, oh, they don't have Julio. We're all set. He's still.
I never said that.
A lot of people did.
Right. Well, those people are idiots. Like
I never. Ryan's actually pretty damn good quarterback.
I thought the Falcons were going to score. I mean, I said 28-24 was what I originally said. I thought the Falcons were going to score, over 20 points. Like, I didn't think we were just going to shut them down. But the defense, they kept fighting. They kept getting after it. I mean, even the last drive was the white knuckled. The
two interceptions only giving up 3 points was huge too. Because one of those, Mitch put us in a pretty bad spot. It was like the 20-yard. Absolutely,
to hold them there was insane, and then to get the ball back. I mean, they held them to a punt and get the ball back. I mean, like it was. I mean, they did a great job piping in the sound because I forgot that there were no fans there. Like they really, they must have a lot of tape of the Atlanta fans freaking out for a collapsing loss. They have that because it was shockingly lifelike. Like, I was like, wow, this is really happening right now. But for the Bears, especially
that's another thing. Like you said, Mitch is playing in front of no fans right now.
Right. And oh my God. I mean, he already would have been the booing would have been obscene already. During the Giants game, it would have been out of control. It's just, and what you see is, I think is amazing, is the way that the defense has been able to generate this energy. When
they need it, they can.
Yes, and that's Khalil Mack. Like, dude is relentless, and I'm. Spare me, stat nerds. Nobody's getting sacks. The leading sack getter in the NFL is T.J. Watt with 2.5. And then there's like a bunch of guys at 2 sacks, and one of them is Jamal Adams. Like, for whatever reason,
I don't understand.
I know a guy that's got 3.5. I know a guy that's got 3.5.
Well, yes, Akeem Hicks.
Yeah, buddy.
Yep.
Yeah, he does. And he's feeding off of Mac.
Akeem had what, 1.5 sacks and 5 quarterback hits today? Like,
he should have.
Dude was beast mode.
Quinn's still getting his legs under him too. Let's remember that.
He is, and I'd like to see how many snaps Quinn played, because I do feel like he got rotated out. I would guess about 35 at most he played. I don't think we got to, like a full workload for him yet. But again, I think I
think
like
Johnson held up pretty well too.
Jalen Johnson played nice. I didn't have an issue with him. And Kyle has been a sure tackler. Absolutely, in the open field has been a short tackler. But the thing with Kyle, and it's starting to get on my nerves, and it's been on my nerves all last season because actually Kyle wasn't that great last year, even though everybody thinks he was.
9 yards of cushion?
Yes, I mean, I'm tired of this, man. Like, you need to come up. Like, you cannot. I don't know what this thing is where you don't.
Chris isn't his game, man.
But like, you gotta be a little more flexible. Because I feel like he is not a true shutdown corner in that teams still go after him on third and long.
I've never considered him one, but he's a number one. He's not Revis or anything.
No, and I don't know who really is anymore, but
shutdown corner is going to switch with
right.
his guy.
I'll say this: had Matt Ryan hit that pass to the left, I can't remember, it was his number 17, where he throws it and Johnson was beat.
Yeah.
I mean, our corners were beat badly today by receivers that aren't good.
Well,
I mean, they're just not. They're not. They're not starters.
Right. I mean, they go pretty deep on receivers.
Let's talk about good Gibson and bad Gibson. Good Gibson was the pick. Bad Gibson, when he gets in the film room on that run fill where he's backpedaling and the running back is coming after you, I hope. Great getting the interception.
He looked a little slow there, yeah.
Great job getting the interception, but that's bullshit. Quit backing up. You're a safety. Lay a motherfucker out.
Well, exactly, and but when you've got the offensive guard, I mean, the offensive guard is practically pushing Roquan on a dolly cart into him. Like, that's how bad Roquan looked at times. Roquan was getting pushed around, except for the one time he came on the blitz, and that's the one I'm still not willing to go full Pagano hate, except when he sent Kyle Fuller on a blitz. Why? Who? Never. And that totally didn't work. And then the one time he finally sends Roquan on a blitz, it works. And then did they do it at any other times? I don't think they did.
No. Might be time to have that discussion. They've been waiting for Roquan to make that jump. I don't know if it's coming, man. It might just be this might be who he is.
I think he's solid.
He's solid. Don't get me wrong.
I think he's solid, but I don't think he's like, I don't think he's like a playmaker yet. Like, I just and I feel like what's happened, unfortunately, is that when he was, it was when Danny was playing well, or when Kwiatkowski was playing well.
I think things are a little different without Goldman in there, and it makes you play a different type of defense. And that's
I don't know.
That's an adjustment for everybody. There's times where Roquan's only middle linebacker in the game. There's no 3-4. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
I know, and he's stuck in the box. I mean, he's plays
also all over the field.
Right. But I just feel like he's chasing, and there were times where Akeem rushed, whoever else was in the middle just got shed, and here comes the guard just rumbling towards him, and he got pushed back, and then next thing you know, that Hill guy, and thank God he went to the Swift school of receiving and dropped that third down, because that was a big play as well, which could have been a real momentum changer. I mean, you said during the game, sure would have been nice to have made that field goal when it was 26-23. Like, dude, I mean, I guess I'm excited that Piñeiro's going to come back. I still don't really trust that guy. I
don't trust either one of them.
Like, I don't know. I mean, I just know that we need touchdowns and not field goals.
Exactly.
And they should have scored on that first drive, but they stalled out. Which
happens, But the 3 and outs has got to stop.
Yeah,
I also thought coming into this season without the preseason that defenses would be ahead of the offenses, and it's just not the case.
No, well, and it's just funny how like some people want to make excuses for people like Mitch, but then you see quarterbacks around the league shredding with no preseason, change coordinators. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, all these different reasons why, guys shouldn't be doing well, but yet they are. Russell Wilson has like an 80% completion percentage and is shredding, and now he's probably the best player in the league. So that's
one thing we have seen from this team that we didn't think we were going to see coming into the season also is our offense bailing out our defense.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's a good sign. I mean, it's not going to be perfect. You need both sides to sometimes get you out of the muck, and they did.
So
like I said, I think with Foles we're going to just see a better balance.
In the first half and late in the second half, or midway through the second half, the bad defense was complemented by bad offense.
Yeah.
And then in the last 6 minutes, it was like good defense, good offense. That's weird.
But now we're going to see consistent offense. If Foles is a starter and we can keep him healthy, we'll see a more consistent offense, which will be a lot better for the defense. If we can
hope.
We start playing.
And that's going to be the key is keeping Foles upright.
Well, you don't want to play this. You don't want to play against his defense though. If we're up like 14, and you have to start getting a little bit desperate.
Right.
That's where we're going to eat.
And that changes the way that Pagano's going to play. Like, you can't judge him. You can't judge him until you see what he does with a lead more often, like a real lead. You know what I mean? Like when we're up 10 or 2 scores, and then they can really go, But otherwise, I mean, it is kind of reminiscent of past defenses where they keep everything in front of them. And they try to play for turnovers. I mean, and Fangio does this and used to do this too. So it's not really some new thing. They just need to, they gotta. I mean, Akeem said it after the game. It's like, the offense needs to give us a breather sometimes.
You can't go 3 and out and get your defense to get a 3 and out just so your offense can turn around and send them right back.
Right, like if you have a turnover and the defense saves you by only giving up 3 points, and then you go out and give a 3 and out up, it's like
defense is a little older now too, though. You gotta.
They are. I mean, and they look. I mean, I'll be honest. Like Trevathan looks winded off the bus. Like they look. They look tired.
He played somebody out today, though. He's still got a little something in him.
Yeah, he can hit if it's right in front of him. But I just never seen a guy go off a cliff like this. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, everybody wants Kwiatkowski.
I saw it with Urlacher.
Yeah, everybody wants Kwiatkowski. Kwiatkowski hasn't played for the Raiders, and the Raiders got bitch slapped by New England today. Who is playing well though is KPL is playing well.
Yeah,
and that's the one person that I still don't understand why we let KPL and Nick Williams go. I was fine with Kwiatkowski going. He played well. He deserved a new contract. He could have kept Nick Williams. Nick Williams didn't make a bunch of money. We have cap space, and I feel like
I think KPL would have been a great asset to have right now.
Yes. I know he had that.
Ogletree would have been a great asset.
Dude, anybody but Iggy and Woods. I mean, like these dudes are bums. Like
Woods, I gotta give him Woods on special teams is good.
He had a penalty today. He had a 10-yard holding call. You did nothing in the game, and that's the only thing that's your stat line. He's not good.
Generally plays pretty decent on special team.
Whatever. The next good play he makes will be the first one. Like,
we're 3-0.
What did he do in game 2? Nothing because he didn't play.
Damn. Okay, 3-0. Nick Foles came in. We have what looks like a quarterback now.
Yeah, I mean, and here's another thing that cropped up is that people are like saying it's a controversy that Laser took Mitch out of the game and not Nagy. Well, if you haven't been paying attention, Nagy is
Laser announced it to Mitch.
Right. But there's no longer this Mitch and Nagy huddle all the time. If you watch, it's Nagy's on his own and Flip and Laser are running the quarterbacks.
Nagy was over there with Foles though near the bench.
Well, yes, but I'm just saying that, and maybe that'll change, because Nagy likes Foles. But what I'm saying is that I've noticed a real effort for there to be a separation. Like it was clear to me from the first game and the second game that there was not going to be this little, that there's a tough love thing going on with Mitch, and they've been doing it. And even though Nagy has still defended him and still, he can't help but be that kind of coachy dad type of person, and that's a special throw.
Didn't we hear that report that the whole decision was Pace overruled everybody? The coaching staff wanted Foles.
Yep.
That was from a beat reporter too. So
right. Well, here's the one way you could play it, and it's always a mix. Like, I don't believe in this pure, polarity of the situation.
No, but Hogan Johnson came out and defended Pace, but Pace also does that one interview a year for them, so they're not going to try to.
Right, they're not going to slam him. They don't want to. They don't want to kill the golden goose on that. But my thing is this: if you're Nagy, now nobody can say shit to you about you didn't try to make it work with Mitch. He has tried to make it work, okay? He did it in 2018. He made it work at times. They changed the offense. 2019, he tried to progress him into a better pocket passer. It didn't work. They changed the offense. They tried to get it to work. Again, they fired everybody and brought in this whole new crew. They made a whole new offense. They figured out a new running game.
They called Mitch's high school coach and said, please give me a playbook to run with this kid. And they did.
Yeah,
and now they can throw it out.
Right. But now nobody can say, including Ryan Pace, can say that you did not exhaust every effort in the world to get this kid and he's not a kid, to get this guy to get it done, and he did not. So now there's no doubt. And all the other stuff was absolutely true. The truncated play, the truncated schedule of preseason and no preseason, and the limited practices and limited reps, the lack of familiarity between Foles and Nagy, which again obviously is clearly overblown because
it only matters when it matters.
It
only matters.
Say, Brian?
The PR pitch really got some of the fan base real like, Mitch is
here.
here. Mitch has arrived. They trust him.
Well, and we just saw it's like, is Florio on the payroll? Because he put out that article about how Foles is so invaluable as another coach and a scout for using his knowledge to help. I was like, oh my God, like, it's basically like anti-PR because there's all this, Pace screwed up stuff out there, didn't get Cam or,
I didn't see many body language experts today either. Like, remember the guys that used to critique Cutler's like facial expressions? Like, where were they with Mitch?
Yeah.
He didn't look fired up.
Listen, when you're a nice guy, and Mitch has been, he's been the good soldier and he's been a nice guy. And I mean, you obviously you get a lot of people in your corner. You know what I mean?
Credit to him for answering the tough questions today afterwards. I give him that.
Yeah,
he's a man.
Absolutely.
Took it like a man. Sit on the bench like a man.
And it helps that, it does help that Foles, same way. I mean, Foles did a post-game interview and he talked, he big up Mitch and said,
the way he described what went on. I'm like, this is refreshing. Like, he actually, if you listen, like, told you everything he processed. I'm like, holy shit. I haven't heard this from a quarterback in a couple of years.
Yeah, because he actually does the processing. Mitch can't answer those questions because there's no actual processing happen. He doesn't I don't think he knows what happened when it went right, and he doesn't really know what happened when it went wrong either.
I think we can't, as fans, take a giant shit on Mitch just yet, because there's a good possibility we're going to need him.
There's no giant shit.
There's people burning jerseys.
Well, fuck those people.
That's for throwing shade. Let's save that.
We're throwing shade.
But no. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and shit on Mitch. We tried with him, dude. I mean, everybody tried with him. Everybody tried to make it work.
Yeah, for those of us that didn't, I mean, we've been our third season now. I mean, the first season we were podcasting, we were all about supporting this kid, and we call him if he didn't play well, but we all wanted we still today I wanted to see him succeed. But
and honestly, I was thinking, okay, they probably should pull him, right? after that pick, but I didn't think it was going to happen.
Tweet it out, but I would just
And part of me was like, well, I mean, I didn't think the game was over, like, because they couldn't get up on us enough, and so I really didn't think the game was over even before Foles came in. I just kind of felt like they were close. They should have had a turnover. I felt like the pass rush was getting close, and I tweeted out that the defense was warming up, and they were, but then they gave up that Todd Gurley big run. But they still were close. I mean, the defense was right there to getting him and to stripping the ball. And so I felt like we were going to get that chance. And, we do know that Mitch has some ability to come back. We've seen it. So I thought, that they were still in this game. But obviously I didn't know that it was going to go down like it went down.
I think, Jared and I will take a look at the coach's tape when it comes out, but I think we're going to probably see a couple things and understand exactly why it happened. I think he was forcing some balls, and we need to see who was open and all that good stuff.
It's ironic that you brought up the tweeting out. It's the time for Foles. I had it holstered.
I had one.
I was like, I'm trying to be patient. Mm-hmm. Good. Right. I let off. I didn't do it, and then bam, here comes Foles. It's like, dude. Oh shit!
And props to Nagy, because you know what? Like, how much more can he let Mitch drag everybody down? I mean, let's be honest. Like, how much more can he be judged by him, and can these receivers get judged by him? And just, I mean, the kid just can't put it all together. Like, he's not a bad kid. He's not a bad person. He's not a bad player. He just can't put it all together.
Right. And it's painfully obvious.
And it's been obvious, but we've tried it, because of his draft pick and because of all the investment in him and everything else. They've tried it. And you're still going to have people who feel that he didn't get a fair shake. And it's like, what more could he possibly have asked for in terms of a fair shake? He has gotten more than a fair shake. He's had many, many coaches and coordinators just hired for him. He's gotten every opportunity in the world to make this work, and he just hasn't done it. And it's sad, but you know what? It's the NFL, and that's not for long. And I think Foles said, he's like, I've been there. It made me a better person and a better player. So maybe this happens for Mitch. I don't know. I mean,
can we just have a moment of silence for Greg Braggs?
Shut up
about throwing shade.
Greg knows we love him, man.
Well, and I thought he took it well, and always in good nature. And Greg walks it like he talks it. He is a fan of this team first. He goes hard for players.
He's one of the best guys out there. He really is.
Yeah, like he doesn't turn petty, and because at the end of the day, like, they won. I mean, and that's the thing, is like, we're 3-0. I don't care how you want to slice it. Jason La Canfora, eat a dick. Like,
yes.
Get out of here. Like, everybody, shoveled dirt on us again. And you know what happened? When the cardiac bears roamed this field before in 2006, okay? Yep. And they cardiac their way all the way to the damn Super Bowl. So you never know. I mean, guys are dropping like flies.
Let's face it.
The Vikings, everybody was picking them to be, right up there for the division. They're 0-3. They're hot garbage.
Oh,
like the Lions, are 1-2.
Yeah,
they somehow beat. Yeah, because Kyler Murray threw a bunch of picks. Which is great in my opinion, because that means Patricia keeps his job for another week, which is what we want.
Packers are 37-30 with 32 seconds left.
Yeah, this game's over.
Yeah, that's bad. Aaron Rodgers continues to be Aaron Rodgers. So, but back to...
That's what I'm saying, too. Adams was out. See, the injuries, like, people are making too much about these injuries, man. Players play.
Mm-hmm.
You are exactly right. And guess who came out swinging right off the bench? That pinch hitter, the home run. He's throwing home runs, baby. It's sixes all day.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was actually gonna tweet it out because Nagy. They showed a side shot of Nagy like talking to the mic. I'm like, is he going to the bullpen? Just in my head, joking around. I was gonna screenshot it and put it out there like that. And lo and behold, man.
I mean, they had to have talked about it. I mean, like I don't think Nagy but everybody seemed pretty surprised.
You know who wasn't surprised? Did I notice it didn't go over and necessarily console Mitch? Akeem Hicks did not exactly go over and console Mitch.
Why should you need to, man?
That's the leader. That is the leader to me.
So you're gonna give Mitchie Poole a hug? Come on, man.
Like I said, I said it earlier in the year. It's only going to be a matter of time before Akeem Hicks is giving Mitch the Mike Glennon treatment and giving him a forearm shiver on the sideline. Like, get out of here, man. We're trying to win. I mean, nobody
did Hicks console him against the Rams.
Hicks ain't consoling anybody, and just because Khalil Mack was mic'd up and gave Mitch some love.
I've always said that that's the leader you want to listen to. You know?
Yeah. I mean, because that dude knows that it's about results. And I would say that one of the things about this team this year is that you have seen when guys are not performing, they get pulled out. Yep. You know? I mean, you know, there would be years past where it was like, oh, let's give Riley Ridley a chance in his hometown against his brother. And it's like, nah, bro, you're a healthy scratch. Like, you know, even though everybody was, you know, Mitch Nagy was trying to sell that he's really close and all this and that. I'm like, how close is he? You know, and somebody brought up a good point too, is it's like, how great is Miller if Mooney just burns right past him on the depth chart? I mean, you know, like Mooney's nice. Don't get me wrong. Like, I like Mooney, but he shouldn't be just blasting right past Anthony Miller, should he?
We'll get a better idea of our skill positions now that if Foles is the guy.
We'll get an honest assessment, I think.
I mean, can you imagine a scenario in which Foles does not start against the Colts?
My head will explode.
I can't imagine that scenario. Like,
I don't think he can get back.
I think it's fairly likely that we are going to see Mitch play again this year, just because, and I hope it's not a serious injury, but I just think history will tell you that that Foles is going to get hurt at some point.
If ever there was a year to do it where no fans were in the stands, this is the year that the Bears would do something like that. Because there's nobody to boo him. There's nobody.
I just can't see it. Like, Foles was so good. Like, if it was just like the defense, if Foles went out there and he was,
I don't know. I don't see how you can sell it to the rest of the players.
Absolutely, you can't.
Or the fan base.
No,
you can't. Like,
we know they don't give a shit about that.
There's no way. And Nagy in his heart of hearts, he wants to run the ball some, but he wants to run his offense. He does not want to run, you know, this high school crap. Like, he wants to see Nick Foles slinging the ball around and getting chunk plays. And yeah, Nick Foles is going to throw some picks. He's gonna, like, it's going to happen, but he's also going to throw some touchdowns. He's also going to make plays on 4th and goal from the 17.
Sometimes it's all about the system. Some people call quarterback system quarterbacks. That's fine, but Foles almost threw 5 touchdowns off the being cold.
Right.
Think about what
not
that
one,
is.
Not 2,
and a half,
3, not 4.
Well, and there was
in a half, bro.
What did they there was a historical stat that they put out about the comeback.
First time ever a team's come back from 16 points or more twice.
Yeah,
I think that's what it was.
Insanity. Like, insanity. Like, that's, you know, it doesn't just seem crazy. Like, it's crazy what we're watching.
And we don't need Foles to be great. We just need him to be consistent. That's what I'm saying. Like,
right. And Mitch, at the end of the day, couldn't even be consistently decent.
But Foles can.
We no longer have to chase decent, boys. We found it.
Yeah, but he also has.
And we might have to go back to Mitch. That's kind of the scenario we're in. I'm just hoping Foles can stay healthy, man. If he can stay healthy, we're in the driver's seat.
So here's Fishbane put this out. Since at least 1940, the Bears are now 144. 144 when trailing by 16 plus points entering the fourth quarter, with 2 of those wins coming in the past 14 days. NFL teams are now 646 since the start of 2010 when entering the fourth quarter trailing by 16 plus points.
So you're saying we got a chance?
It's something. I mean, it's not nothing. The Bears are the first team in NFL history to win 2 games in a single season when they were trailing by at least 16 points entering the fourth quarter. And they did it 2 out of 3 weeks. Like, that's just nuts.
Do you remember the Mike Brown year?
Yeah.
We go 13-3.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of those feels, doesn't it?
Yes.
I mean, just kind of spitballing here, but it's like, man, it feels like
absolutely. That. I mean, you know, that was a year where there were quarterback play wasn't great, and you know there were some crazy wins, and you know, and whatever. I mean, like the Fishbane puts out fourth quarter stats. Matt Ryan 3 of 11 for 31 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception, passer rating of 1.7.
We need to get the graphic up for the show. But it's almost that time.
Nick Foles in the fourth quarter, 13 of 23, 154 yards, 3 touchdowns, passer rating of 116.7. That's with the touchdown that got called back.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Foles just told us he told Anthony Miller to get the L in Falcons in the end zone. The Bears quarterback.
This is the same shit we were talking about in the preseason.
Right.
That's the stuff that he does.
Right. He's like, dude, just get to the L. That's the play. That's freaking Sandlot.
Hand the L's out. Hand the L's out.
Get to the L and the ball will be there. And I will sit in the pocket and get drilled, and it doesn't matter. Anyway, so this is sometimes you make a shirt from a segment. We made a segment from a shirt. Shout out to Diddy's brother Aaron, great name. Came up
the
with
latest and greatest
with a fire concept and a fire shirt. Of course, we wear these sunglasses. Some people think it's fucking stupid. Fuck you if you think it's stupid. Straight up. What we do, we don't hate. But we do throw shade. And so we're going to have a regular segment called Throwing Shade where we're going to throw some shade. We're going to call some people out. You know, we're not going to get vulgar or, you know, anything like that, but we're going to call some people out. And
yo, it's my boy. Hey, let's throw some shade, son.
You're going to get shade thrown at you sometimes. So first voyage of throwing shade. Diddy lead us off.
Are you going to have me lead it off?
Yes!
Your brother made the shirt.
I want to throw a shade at our boy Hub Arkush, who decided to tweet out, Foles does not look any better than Trubisky so far, maybe just a little luckier. Hub, with your negative ass, how'd that play out, bro?
Yeah, how'd that work out for you, Hub?
He's a cranky old fuck.
Yeah, he really is. Like,
there went the not going vulgar.
No, that's not vulgar. Cursing is not vulgar. Vulgarity and cursing are not necessarily the same thing. We're not you know, saying anything completely out of pocket. But yeah, that's now listen, in-game tweeting is risky business. And so you live by the tweet, you die by the tweet.
Hey, I got called out today for saying I think Mitch is gonna have a big game. Somebody threw a shot at me, and I said,
my whole Monte Carlo Mitch thing got thrown to, you know. I mean, that didn't work out. I mean, you know,
it happens.
Yeah, but I'm gonna throw shade at the whole Hallis Intrigue podcast, who all picked the Bears to lose. Potash, Leisure,
hey, you should get an email right about
Finley. All your asses picked the Bears to lose.
A lot of people picked the Bears to lose.
In your face. JJ, our boy. Sorry, JJ, but you picked them to lose.
Oh, JJ, no.
You were wrong. Throwing shade.
Yeah, Patrick Finley, draw a picture about that. Patrick Finley.
Well, my shade goes to Jerome Boger and this horrible NFL
Horrifying.
officiating team. And this is not the first year they've been this bad. They've been this bad for a lot of years. I mean, you can almost draw a track record of this. NFL needs to do something about it. I mean, the guy just likes to hear himself talk, I think. It's just it's terrible. It's inconsistent.
And let me pile on to Al Riveron.
Hi, I'm Al Riveron.
Hi, I'm Al Riveron. So, like, what is the point of having all this technology if you're still going to get it wrong? I mean,
Dan, right there.
Dan Brawler, Bears Brawl guy in the house says it's pitiful. Yup, it's pitiful. The officiating around the league has been atrocious so far. The holding calls are basically non-existent for every team. They're calling pass interference like crazy. You know, these personal fouls and these late hits and all this crap that I mean, it's crazy. Like, let them play. You know, like I just like I get you have to protect these quarterbacks, but it's just completely inconsistent.
The whole landing with the weight argument on a strip sack.
Hey,
What?
they're getting their legs
Doesn't
under
have a
them
clean-
too, guys. We got to be fair here.
Right. It's like, yeah, right. Like you're 340 pounds and you're going full speed. You get a guy, you're pulling him down, and you're supposed to like somehow not land on him with your weight. Just put flags on them. I mean, I'm serious. Like, forget it at that point.
I'm not making excuses for. Well, I guess I am, but they're in the same boat as some of the players with no preseason. That preseason helps the refs too get that shit out of their way. It's
Jerome
like garbage.
Boger's been doing this for years. It's nothing.
Today's game, no, I have no defense for that shit.
And I
but-
just watched the Packers get 2 easy ones because of pass interference. It's just like, really?
Well, I will say that
that's
for
the Aaron Rodgers effect. That's never going to change.
for the first time, like
Right.
I think in a long time, we actually almost got away with a. Actually, I think Massey got away with a false start that they didn't call, and we got away with a delay of game. I thought, which every damn
Almost. It
team
was
gets
close.
away. I think it was close, and I think it wasn't a missed call, but that's a call that we normally get called against us, and like you know, for whatever reason, like nobody can have a delay of game called against them when they play us.
Agreed.
But yeah, the refs. I mean, I don't like to blame the refs for everything, but it's like
No,
they
I'm
just-
not blaming him. I'm just saying, be consistent, be better.
yeah, they got to be better. Like
I mean,
they got to be.
That's got to
better.
get better. That's
Yeah, and I'm gonna also throw some shade at anybody that's out there, you know, burning Mitch jerseys and calling him a bitch and acting like an idiot for clout. Like, number one, you wouldn't say that to dude's face. So
no, he would own
get
you.
out your mommy's backyard and quit with your little bitch ass, you know, jersey burning little show that you put on. Like, that's cornball. You're a fucking cornball.
Oh, we're talking
So-
about it on our show, and everybody's tweeting about how disgusted they are about it. So you're feeding into the bullshit.
Okay, fair, but I'm still gonna call it out. I don't care. I'm gonna call those fuckers out. That's bullshit, and you shouldn't, you know, they shouldn't behave like that. I mean, I think jersey burning stupid. You want to do it, you do it, but then they don't need to say that Mitch is a bitch, because there's one thing, he's not a bitch. Like,
But
dude
I
is-
don't understand burning your own colors, man.
it's just.
I got plenty of jerseys of crappy players. Plenty of them.
Like, I mean,
How
Mitch
you want Brian Cox put up?
Well, I'm saying, if you hate a player, right, send the jerseys of goodwill. So somebody that might be a little less fortunate that you might want a Bears jersey, even if it's a player that sucks, man. Don't burn your own colors. It's stupid.
No,
That is
it's-
stupid.
It's stupid. Dan Goodwin says Buffalo got screwed out of a simultaneous catch, just like Robinson today. Well, Buffalo at least came back and won. You know,
Josh Allen,
like
man.
Josh Allen has been balling out. Diggs has been balling out, and you know,
Minnesota misses him.
ooh,
I
what?
think Minnesota misses Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
I mean, you know, they had, I don't know what everybody was so high on Minnesota for. They lost so many good players. Like, I don't see how you could lose that many good players and get better. Like, that just didn't make any sense to me. It was like, oh, they replaced them with this and that.
I'm not making any judgment on teams till like 5-6 weeks into the season.
Coming in hot.
Well, that's the thing is that, okay, so where do we sit? Where do we sit? We feel good
My
going
mic was
into.
out, Jay? Who came in hot?
You're hot.
You're hot.
Your mic's super hot. I
Oh,
don't know. But here's the question: is what do you feel now? I mean, all I know is that we're 3-0. We're tied for first place because Green Bay won.
not better now.
The Lions are trash. The Vikings are trash. I'm going to judge both those teams.
Right.
The Colts beat the crap out of the Jets. That's pretty meaningless to me. Now, the Colts defense has been playing better. They played very well against a terrible Jets team that was banged up and is terrible. But I don't really see any reason why I would think that I would pick the Bears to lose next week. Now, the Colts have opened up as a favorite.
Right.
That's kind of interesting. You know,
You talk about a less mobile quarterback. Phillip Rivers is way less mobile.
he is. He can still do some things. I mean, he can still
He can throw you in and throw you out of a box.
Mhm. He's also going to throw you a couple. I mean, he's very Cutler-like. You know,
Catch him.
he's going to throw a couple of interceptions.
Is that
I
better?
guarantee.
Is that better, boys?
I don't know.
It's as good as it's going to get. Just
Yeah.
roll with it.
It's fine. But I can't sit here and go like I'm that worried about the Colts, especially if Foles is going to start and Foles gets all the reps.
Well, I tell you this: we've got to stop their running game. That's where it's got to start. You know, we got to.
But they lost Marlon Mack. Are they still running the ball that well?
That Taylor kid's good.
Yeah, Taylor is good. You're right. Taylor is money.
That's
Yeah, Taylor is good.
You think we had troubles against Atlanta up the middle running?
Yeah,
from the Colts and Diddy, it's your guy. You know, it's
Quentin.
Nelson.
Yeah, it's Quentin. See now, and that was something that came out this week that supposedly Pace tried to trade up in the 2018 draft, and people were like, "Oh, Pace." I was like, "But if he tried to trade up to get Nelson and he got him, that would have been money."
Yep.
Like I would have taken that in a heartbeat. You know.
Would have settled that guard position down. Now, give James Daniels some credit where credit's due. He's playing. He had a couple of bad plays today, but he's playing.
Right, but if you took Quentin Nelson, we already did this. But if you did Quentin Nelson, then later on you go down and you take Levante David or something at linebacker. Like you didn't need. I mean, and I still hope that Roquan pans out. But at this point, it's you can't even argue about who's a better player. And Quentin Nelson is a million times better player than Roquan. So
it definitely has more of an effect on the game.
Yeah, I mean,
it's more of an impact player.
Yes, and for a guard, that's saying something. For a guard to be more of an impact player than a linebacker, like that's saying something. So, I mean. I feel good, going into this game, and I would honestly, I don't know if I would feel
good.
What's
the spread on it? Is it 3?
2.5.
Is it at Indy?
No, it's in Chicago.
They're at 2. So wow.
So we're home dogs right now.
All right. Keep sleeping.
Yeah, I mean that's gonna flop. I think by game time the Bears will probably be favored by 2. Or it'll be or who knows? I mean, it could go off. I mean, I don't know if it's even gonna. It might end up being a pick'em game because I think a lot of people are gonna, bet the Bears.
Chicago money will roll in.
Yeah. So, but I just
as far as like the team, you want to know how I feel about it. I feel like there's still questions, but the one question that we do have answered is the heart of this team. And the heart of this team is unchallenged. It does not quit. When you're down, when they are down, they don't stop.
Right.
That's the one answer we have.
Right. And there may be some drives, and the defense may have some moments where like, oh God, it looks like they gave up, but later on in the game, they're gonna come back again. They don't like give up. There are just some times where I feel like it just feels like they did for whatever reason. There's some let-ups. But we should be used to this. I mean, the Lovey's defense has played that bend, don't break, keep everything in front of you style It's like that's a little bit of what they're doing right now. I'd like to see them. Like I said, I want to see the snap counts and see how much Queen was in there, but I still think we need to see more blitzes. And
I think you saw today that we weren't in third and manageable a lot. We were in third and longer, 7, 8, 9 instead of 4, 5, and 6, and that affected our gameplay.
Right.
All right, is that better? We good?
No, now we can't hear you basically at all. That got way worse.
Crank it, soldier boy.
Great.
Technical difficulties. Dun, 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 dun,
HMD
dun,
Studio.
dun, 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 dun.
Here you go. Would you like a musical interlude? I've got one spotted up for you.
Dun, 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 dun.
And with the local DBC news, the
Oh!
but tonight, don't call it a comeback.
Wow.
There it is, boys. Don't call it a comeback. They just keep playing, man. They just don't stop.
Well, and the confidence that they're gaining is everything. I mean, that's all I've got to say about that is the confidence that they are gaining, and the defense still is gaining momentum. Yes, they gave up 23 points. Okay, big fucking deal.
We had turnovers negated by stupid penalties.
Like, look at exactly. And look at, I mean, how many points did the Falcons score the last 2 weeks? Like 38. So, I think 23. And when it happens matters. When they needed to, they made stops.
Yep.
And so I think that the confidence is growing on this defense. I think. I like the way they're playing for the most part. Is it perfect? No. But
Last attempt.
Perfect.
what it just happened? It's like Max Headroom. Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, man.
Yeah, it's real bad now. It's like
Just go back over by your scoot back way back.
now your lights off. No, it's like
Let's wrap it up, boys. I think you're my.
yeah. I think we hit it all.
I don't know.
What do you feel about the Bears? How do you feel about the team? Go.
I feel good.
No, you actually sounded okay. I was being an asshole.
No, I'm not. I don't hear it on my end. So
You're good.
Oh,
You're good.
yeah, you're right. Your light's off, but hey, there's the light. 3-0. What do you feel? Think we're gonna be 4-0? I'm gonna say right now we're gonna be 4-0, and it's gonna be set up for the Foles versus Brady rematch. What up?
I'll take that.
I'd take that.
That's what I say.
Gotta
Afangu.
see what Quentin Nelson can do.
Well, that's what we were talking about. Taylor running the ball. I mean, the Colts are not as bad as they've shown. Obviously
you are what your record says you are.
Yeah, absolutely. And sure, they beat up on the Jets, but they lost to the Jags, and they barely beat the Vikings. So, I mean, again, I'm not scared. I'm not like
I ain't scared no ghost.
right.
Watch Quentin Nelson on tape, though.
Boy.
Well,
that's enough of that.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
That's it. So, thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for participating in the chat. Thanks for watching.
Catch the podcast tomorrow.
Yep, you can catch the podcast tomorrow. Shout out to Tim Shanley for throwing it down on the news today, this morning, early morning.
Those ribs were ridiculous, dude.
Throwing down. Great job on that. We put the video out on Facebook. Follow us on Facebook. It's on Instagram. We'll be talking to him next week, which would be cool since it's a home game, technically.
Go fund me for my mic, too.
Yep. We need Diddy to get a remodel on his mic like he's doing with his kitchen right now. And we got a lot more coming for you. A lot more in store. Bears are fucking 3-0. That's all I know. 3-0. Yeah, we lost Tariq, but we gained a quarterback. You know, like, let's go. It's on. We rolling. 3-0. Just another episode of The Tailgate Show.
The Foles.
The koozie.
Koozie life is
Koozie
so
life is
serious.
so
The
good.
Koozie life is serious. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week. Victory Monday is yours to hold and covet.